Don't miss this opportunity to experience the magic of this timeless wisdom for yourself. Visit www.vedantawisdom.in to know more. Are you looking to discover the path to lasting peace and success? Look no further. And Rishihood University have partnered to bring you a truly transformative immersive learning experience. A 1-month fully residential course titled Awakening Wisdom. Insights on Life from the Bhagavad Gita. This course, from the 1st to the 31st of July 2023, is divided into 4 modules based on Chapter 5 of the Bhagavad Gita, each spanning 1 week. They are Stages of Human Growth, Actions for the Different Stages, The Self-Realized, and the Path to Happiness. Each module can be pursued independently. Participants who complete all 4 modules will receive a certificate of completion. The course draws upon the timeless wisdom of the Bhagavad Gita, providing insights on how to lead an inspired life. You will learn how to be productive in your endeavors, reduce mental agitations, and develop clarity of thought. We offer you a dedicated environment for self-development, away from routine household and professional demands, to live and learn this ancient wisdom, under the guidance of an experienced and renowned teacher. You will be part of a vibrant cohort of dedicated seekers and will participate in specially curated activities, deliberately engineered to propel your growth. These include lectures, self-study, yoga, sports, group discussions. Are you looking for a deeper understanding of life? Vedanta Wisdom Trust and Rishihood University present Awakening Wisdom, Insights on Life from the Bhagavad Gita. Join us for a 1-month residential certificate course and explore the timeless wisdom of the Gita. You will be part of a vibrant learning community, exploring the ancient teachings of the Vedantic tradition in a modern setting. Our experienced faculty will guide you with their unique approach towards understanding this complex philosophical text. This is your chance to discover and experience the power of the Bhagavad Gita. Join us at Rishihood University starting 1st July 2023. Visit www.vedantawisdom.in to know more. Are you looking to explore the depths of the ancient wisdom of the Bhagavad Gita? Join us this July at Rishihood University for our 1-month residential certificate.
Sano bhavatu sahano punatu sahaviryam haravavai tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Rupa, are you new to the class? Rupa, Satish, who else? Everybody else. our whole team. All I want to say, Rupa, is if something is not clear, please feel free to stop me and ask. I mean, on the topic we are discussing.
Sure, it's clear. Thank you.
All right, so we are studying about Gnana Yoga. Gnana Yoga is not about having a lot of information. Many people say, I'm a Gnana Yogi, I've read so many books. Reading so many books, unfortunately, doesn't make us a Gnana Yogi. Far from it. Gnana Yoga is different from Gnana. Gnana means knowledge, means to be educated. Yoga means using that knowledge or that education for self-realization, for self-development. When we use our intellect to join back to our original nature, that is known as Gnana Yoga. How we practice it is by getting up in the morning and studying, which basically means, when you say get up in the morning and study, what does that really mean? It means that you have decided that this is so important for you that you have allocated a daily time for it. Since you are going to allocate a daily time for it, if it is valuable to you, like whatever is valuable to you, you allocate daily time, right? If you think earning money is valuable, then you allocate daily time to it. You don't say, I'll go to office when I feel like it. Nobody does that. I mean, if they do that, their office will not give them enough sustenance. So if you say, I'll study when I feel like it, your study will not give you enough sustenance. If you believe this is important, then you have to allocate daily time. Not only daily time for it, you will have to, at some periods, allocate more time to it, not less time to it. Oh, I do it mostly daily. No, not mostly daily. You'll do it daily as a matter of course, and occasionally, there'll be more times that you will allocate to it. It is equivalent to your daily puja, right? That's how the whole system was. You do your puja every day, and in certain parts of the year, you allocate more time to it. Those were our festivals, where you allocate more time to God. Like Christians will go every Sunday to service, to Mass. But during Christmas, during Lent, during Easter, during this, during that, more time is allocated to it, more effort is allocated to it. So that's exactly how Gnana Yoga will go. Even in any religion, it works like that. And so that's how Gnana Yoga goes as well. That you do it on a daily basis, you do it on that regular basis, and then in parts of the year, you allocate more time. So we are creating that by having our normal classes, our daily study, and every once in a while, we have events where you're allocating more time to it. So that's how we have to design our life. Because if this is the important thing, then there has to be a planned approach towards it. Not a random thing. When I feel like it, when I have time, when I feel comfortable, no. I am doing this come hell or high water, right? So if I am going to allocate a time for it on a daily basis, it makes sense because you're an intellectual. You'll ask, what time shall I allocate to it and why that time? I can allocate 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I can allocate 7 o'clock in the evening, 10 o'clock at night. Why? What time should I allocate to it? Because you're an intellectual, you will ask this question. Therefore, there is an answer to that question. An intellectual will not do anything mechanically. Okay, I have to do it, so I will do it someday. Suppose you say you have to brush your teeth every day. So do you brush any time in the day? When do you brush?
After meals.
Only after meal? Morning and all, no brushing, deep brush. Morning brushing. No, normally we get up in the morning and we allocate some time to it, maybe at night, okay, after meals. You have allocated some time to it. Why have you allocated this time to your brushing? 9 out of 10 times because your parents made you. But why has it become a practice in society? To brush our teeth at a particular time every single day. Why has this become an accepted practice in society?
Because it makes
To
sense.
do it, good for your health. You realize that there's a reason why you're doing it.
Yes, I'm asking, what is that reason?
Because you have value for it.
Oh, what is it? Brushing your teeth? Why do you brush your teeth? What will happen if you don't brush your teeth?
Your teeth will decay.
Oh, oral hygiene.
Yes, correct. Teeth will decay and fall. If you want your teeth to last you for your lifetime, if you want them to last you for 100 years, you will have to brush them every day. Occasional visits to the dentist for further cleaning and taking care of any problems before they become major problems. That's what you do, right? That's what you do for everything. You do it on a daily basis and occasionally do it a little more. You go to your dentist maybe twice a year. And then the dentist will say, okay, I need to clean this, or you need to fill that, or something or the other, they will tell you. Usually something painful, but you will do it anyway. Right? Same process with your spiritual life. You do it every day, occasionally do it a little more painful or otherwise. But we say, no, should I follow this? Should I follow a time? Why should I follow this daily thing? Forget it. I will read whatever book I want, whenever I want it, how much ever I want it. No, you will study between 4 and 6 in the morning. You will study for not more than 1.5 hours. You can study less than 1.5 hours, but never more than 1.5 hours, not less than half an hour also, as far as possible. Okay, you're bound by all these rules. Not only you're bound by these rules, you're bound by many other rules during the course of the day if you want to study. You cannot afford to get overheated up. You cannot afford to get overstressed. You cannot afford to have negative thoughts. You're bound by so many rules in the day. Not only this act will be an act of discipline, the whole day will be an act of discipline. Everything will be planned, programmed, thought about, decided, you're doing this. And so has it been laid down. But many people think, oh, I don't want to follow. I do what I want, when I want, how I want. So what is that famous thing that Chesterton and his fence? You all are aware of Chesterton's fence? Chesterton's fence? No? Chesterton's fence is a philosophical thought where you're going in a field. And when you come to a field, you see a fence, right? Now this fence is blocking your progress. You can't go forward because of the fence. What do? You break the fence? So the philosophical thought says that when you come across a fence, you ought not to break that fence unless you have understood why the fence was there in the first place. So many times, the atheists and all, they do that. They say, what is all this nonsense about God? Surely anyone with basic common sense will see, you're all talking rubbish and all that. They argue like that. So you can apply Chesterton's fence and say, should we break all that down until we know why it was there?
What's it called, Janki-ji? It's ruled, what you're saying.
A Chesterton's fence.
Chesterton.
Chesterton.
It's in the chat.
Sorry?
It's in the chat.
Thanks, Bharat.
In the chat? No. Don't ever take a fence down until you know the reason why it was put up. Yes, that's correct. That's correct. But she's asking, I think, what is the name? The name
Yes, what's the name of the rule is what I'm saying.
Chesterton.
Yeah.
Chesterton's fence.
Thank you.
Because now there's this fence. You said this is blocking my path. I cannot go forward because if you break that fence down and then a massive bull comes chasing you, you don't know, right? What's behind that fence? You don't know why the fence was there. Maybe the fence is obsolete now, but you should know what it was there for in the first place. before you knock it down. That's why the iconoclasts and all that, it's an argument against them. Doesn't mean that we go around, you see somebody worshipping what you call false gods, and then you go and you bash those gods down. No, you don't. You try and understand where somebody put it up, right? Somebody thought about it. That's the theory, that somebody put up a fence. It took time, effort, energy to put up a fence. That person must have had some thought behind it. What was that? So in our country, especially today, we find this, all these fences being broken, everything being broken, because we are now educated, we are westernized, we are modern. But we have to ask ourselves this question: why is this fence there? With education in our country was moral caliber. It was considered as part of the deal. There was no question of you being good at a subject without being good as a human being. That is why, if you recollect, if you see any of the greats of our past, reported greats, now I'm not getting into a discussion whether they existed or not. Okay, all these reported greats, who discovered zero, who discovered operations, or Shushruta, or whoever, any of those people, whoever we think is great in the past, one common characteristic between them all those who have written us treatises on anything, could have medicine, mathematics, astronomy, philosophy, any treatise that anyone has written in India's past, all of them have been referred to as
Rishis.
rishis. Because the culture of the country says knowledge and qualities, goodness, discrimination, all this goes together. There's no division between it. The higher your knowledge is, the better the person. Right? So, I hope you followed the line of thought. Deepraj, I'm coming to you. I'm just repeating the line of thought. Gnana Yoga is not about how many books we have read, but whether we use our intellect for the purpose of self-realization. This is what makes it Gnana Yoga. Gnana is knowledge. When you look up Google, you are transacting with Gnana. When you look up Google and you transact with it with the eventual intention of realizing the self, now don't ask Google, how will I realize the self? But whatever you have transacted, whatever knowledge, with the eventual intent of realizing. Oh, by the way, do you all know that the Vedanta Wisdom website now has a bot, and you can go and ask any of your questions to that bot?
Really? I didn't know that, Janki ji.
Yeah,
Thank
it's
you.
there. And you can ask any question pertaining to Vedanta.
Of course. What time is my flight delayed?
Yeah, don't answer that.
Malti, could you guess who designed it?
Oh gosh. I'm not going to say the obvious, which is Janki ji. Who designed it? No. Deepraj. Oh gosh. No, tell us. Bharat, please share. That's wonderful.
Huh?
Mr. Farokh himself.
Mr.
Farokh.
Mr. Farokh Santok.
Mr. Farokh wants his wife to spend more time with him. That's why he's like, delegate a bot that does your work.
I doubt if that is the reason we branch. But anyway, the bot is there. Please go try it out and tell me how it works. Did you get any good answers? I asked it all sorts of questions. And it seems to have asked it, how do you create interest in Vedanta? So it was a good answer. It said, go attend the classes, read the books, and over time, your interest will grow. So I said, how do I create interest in others in Vedanta? So it gave me a perfect answer. It said, live the life yourself. Okay, thank you very much. So, it gives very intelligent answers. I don't know how they work this thing, but quite good, right?
It does give intelligent answers, because even that stupid, what you call that Alexa, if you say, what's your age? Turns around and says, well, you're not supposed to ask a woman in her age, but actually age is, and they, as they say, age is just a number. She says, but it's not just a number, it's also a word.
Okay.
So clever, some little twist of not just the obvious.
Yes. So yeah. So please try it out and let us know whether you got any good answers or you got bad answers. Let us know. Anyway, coming back to what we are discussing now is flow of thought again. Vedanta, or Gnana Yoga, is the use of Gnana for self-realization. It is not the accumulation of knowledge. When you use your information, when you use your knowledge, so that eventually you will reach the self, you are practicing Gnana Yoga. That is Gnana. That means what? That means you're able to now tell what is important and what you should focus on, what is not important and what you should pass. Don't have to pay attention to this. You have to know this, be able to distinguish between. How do you do it? You do it by daily study. What? Anuja, 852. What is 852, Anuja? Can we know how to get to that link? Just go to the website, it's there. Just go to the website and there'll be like this icon, you click on it. And I think it asks for your name or email or something. And then it says, ask me some questions or something like that. How can I help or something? You ask whatever you want to ask. So when you learn what is important, what you need to focus on, and what you need to defocus on, you are actually practicing Gnana. How do you learn this? You learn this by prioritizing your studies. How do you prioritize your studies? By fixing a time daily to do it. Now, what time should I fix? The time that you fix is between 4 and 6. It could be 4 o'clock, it could be 5 o'clock, it could be 5:15. Whatever time you want, it's up to you, how it fits in your life. But you will not extend your studies beyond 1.5 hours. Because this is, remember, studying is among the most difficult thing a human being does. Not exerting the intellect. You can't afford to do it. Say, okay, I finished my studies. Now what shall I do? I still want to do more spiritual things. Now you engage yourself in karma. You have to do karma. Fill your day with karma. Karma means you're able to work for a higher cause. You're able to work with some kind of vision in life. That will support the calmness of the mind. That will support the good qualities. And then when you study in the morning, you will see the fabulous result. So you bind your day into discipline, much as we will be doing during the July course. We bind our day into the discipline. And we try not to break that. That doesn't mean we should never break it, no matter what happens. No, please, you will always use your head. So there are times, there are situations where you need to break. Please go ahead and break. But you must understand what you are trying to achieve when you have put that discipline. Okay, so discipline the day, discipline your morning studies, and then if you have done all of this properly, what comes out of it is the 20 qualities. That is our yardstick of whether we have actually used this and done it well. So that's our flow of thought up to this point. Yeah, Deepraj.
Yeah, so you said we allocate daily time, and if sometimes we have events. Do the events help us from not stagnating? What's the purpose of the event? Or is it to bolster the mind? What exactly is the purpose of those events?
To give it a further impetus. You're going along at a certain speed. then every now and then you need to accelerate.
Okay. Nice.
Because if you don't accelerate, either you, as you said, stagnate, you continue at the same speed, or you stop. So your mind needs to be given that rev again. Because you see, you're not only studying the day. Millions of things are happening. Okay, and as you study and these millions of things are happening, it's like two forces are playing against each other. Right? Study is telling you be good. Events in the bad world are telling you be bad. And these two forces are, be bad in the sense you're getting irritated, you're saying these people are so stupid, you feel frustrated about something, or you feel you can't achieve something, all this stuff is going on. And your study is the bulwark against it. It's protecting you, right? It's like going into the ocean. The ship goes into the ocean. That ship is sort of protecting the people, right, from the ocean. But at some point, that ship needs to be dry docked. It is taken out of the water and allowed to be dried. And then it regathers its strength, as it were, to go into those oceans again. But if you never dry dock it, you never take it out, then it's been in the water too long. Its life will reduce. It's the same thing with our intellect. You have to take it out of that situation every now and then and give yourself an extra boost. So to prevent deterioration, to be able to do better, to understand more, it does the whole thing. That's why we constantly have these physical events.
So is that the reason that people who don't reflect eventually get frustrated later on in life?
Yeah. If you don't reflect, then you eventually come to a point where you say that, oh, I studied this so much, but kuch nahi hua. Nothing happened. I'm like, why? No, but it wasn't just the gathering of the information. Yes, that's it.
Thank you.
All right, so where were we? We were at, we did steadfastness, our capacity to stay with whatever we have chosen as our ideal. Life is not simple. It's not simple for you. Right? So many challenges come to our doors day after day, in one way or another. Sometimes it is health, sometimes it is wealth, sometimes it is a next door neighbor. Somebody or the other comes and bothers us. Right? Now, this is part of it. Our own flaws bother us. It's not like any of us are perfect. As we try to do whatever we try to do, our own personality stops us from doing it. So millions of things are going on. Now, our art in this subject is our capacity to be able to take our full personality to that goal. There is no part of our personality which we are leaving behind as it. We are one, right? The personality is like a one unit. The whole thing has to go with us. Our virtues have to be used. Our faults have to be used. Our handicaps have to be used, and our expertise has to be used. Everything has to be used. And when we, to the extent we're able to direct everything to that goal, to that extent, we have this quality of steadfastness. No matter what happens, you can only think of that goal. Whatever happens, doesn't matter what happens. Recently, I went here to the mall. Somebody invited us to come and see it, so we went there. And it's very, very interesting, the Apple store over there. They have grown these trees, which they call the ficus, but it doesn't look like the ficus religio or some, but maybe, I don't know. Comment. But anyway, The thing is, in the store, they have grown those trees. They're not, they're actually grown there in the ground. And around it, they have put this beautiful thing that looks almost like a massive pot. And you can sort of sit around the edge. It's very beautifully made. Now, when you see this, what is your thought?
I want that new iPad.
Okay. Now, if you are going to, if you have to be steadfast, what will be your thought?
Do I need it? Is it going to help?
I mean, you can have any thought. You can say, oh, we should have something like this at the university. Right? So no matter what your thought is, some people will think, oh, look at these people, they spend so much money, they waste so much money. But now they spend their money, they use it, they waste it, that is their problem. Now, hum log kya kare uske baare mein? But if they do something which is good, maybe we can use it for our cause. Right? It's a great idea, right? Having it in the ground, but it looks like a decorative tree. It's growing actually in the ground. How they accomplish this, I don't know indoors, but obviously they are doing it. You can go and see it after 2 years and see whether they are still there. But the thing is, any experience you go to, right? You go to the Palace of Versailles. It's the most wonderful ceilings. You can say, you obviously can't have that kind of a ceiling in your home. But couldn't you have beautiful ceilings in, let us say, the university or whatever your goal in life is? So every single thing that happens in life, can you see its connection with the goal? All the time, everywhere. I know one lady, there's a housewife. She's the mother of some of the students at Vedanta Academy. And she's been with Mamaji for many years. And she has this amazing quality. Yeah, no matter where she goes, her only thought is Vedanta Academy. If she goes to a hotel and she sees bed sheets, then she'll say, oh, these will be nice bed sheets for the students there. If she sees water bottles somewhere, she's like, oh, we must have these kind of water bottles at the academy. Every single thing, she thinks only that one thought. No matter what happens, if she meets a human being also, she thinks how this person can be of help to the academy or not be of help to the academy, whatever. Everything is only that thing. Amazing quality, right? That whatever you are dedicated to, no matter what is going on, you only see that thing. That's called steadfastness. Your intellect never moves from the goal. Self-control. Sometimes your mind will be attracted to things that do not take you to that goal, in fact, hinder your path to the goal. When you say no to those things, that is known as self-control. Self-control is not a matter of making this. I am vegetarian, I am non-vegetarian, I drink, I smoke, or I don't drink, I don't smoke. All that is not self-control. Self-control, I will not do anything that takes me away from my goal. That's all there is to it. Rest of the time you do what in the world you want, it doesn't matter. No, I am very self-controlled. I don't do this, I don't do that. Okay, good for you. But self-control really means that you do not do any activity that takes you away from the goal. If, for instance, you believe that going to the July program is important, you will not undertake any activity that takes you away from it. Even simple things like I will take care of my health before I go there. Like I don't want to fall ill just before going there and then having to cancel. You're all the time in complete control of what you're doing when your goal is fixed. That is dispassion towards sense objects. Dispassion towards sense objects does not mean not having them, does not mean not enjoying them, does not mean that if you come over and we give you some ice cream, then you put salt and pepper in your ice cream and have. Doesn't mean any of these things. What it means is you do not give them more value than they deserve. What it means is the sense object doesn't determine whether you will enjoy it or not. You determine it. You are not led into your enjoyment. You decide about the enjoyment. The sense objects are there for us to enjoy. Why should we not enjoy a beautiful sight if we see? Should we close our eyes? If we hear beautiful music, should we close our ears? Why would we do all these funny things? Why can't we appreciate all the beauty, all the wonderful things that are around us? Now, the Rajajan Lumding, right? I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Lamding.
Lamding. Even Lamding. It must be so beautiful, right? One day you show us how Lamding is, okay? And we all breathe and all somewhere in Assam. I don't know, somewhere near the Assam tea gardens or no? No, okay. But whatever, that whole side of the country is just so beautiful. It's beautiful, over there. Now, should he close his eyes when he got out of the house? I shouldn't see it, it's too beautiful. He won't do that. Why should he not enjoy the beautiful place that he lives in? So we have to enjoy whatever we have to enjoy. But we should not give it more value than it is due. Giving it more value than it is due means that I lose my personality in it, meaning my intellect can no longer decide whether I should do it or I shouldn't do it. I see it and I'm gone. Ye to figa ho gaya. Sees it, gone. Dekha, gaya. Not like that. You decide. Absence of egoism. The more we develop in our knowledge, the more we see the evanescence or the non-importance of ourselves in this whole process. Omkar, you have a question?
Yes, Janki, regarding this point, dispassion towards sense objects. So previously we had discussed also the sense of ये किस कवि की कल्पना, ये कौन चित्रकार है, we discussed that. So how, I mean, when you see that kind of beauty, the thought comes or should come of the creator. And in the same breath, we are also saying dispassion towards sense objects. How do the two go together?
They are the same thing. When you see the sense objects and you think of the creator, that is called dispassion. When you see the sense objects and make a grab at them, that is called attachment. Okay, suppose your wife makes you a beautiful hanvo. Your wife makes hanvo or not? Mother makes hanvo, no?
Yeah, mother.
Mother makes hanvo. So your mother makes you a beautiful hanvo. Now, when you see the hanvo, do you only think of the taste, or do you think of the gratitude you owe to the maker? When your thought, or as much of that thought, in appreciation of that hanvo, appreciates its creator, that is called dispassion. If you can only think of the hanvo and just eat it all up, that is called attachment. Oh my God, this is wonderful, wonderful. Or do. Kisi aur ko nahi do. Don't give to anyone else. It's me. And that is attachment. Omkar's mother makes wonderful hanvo, by the way. Occasionally she sends me also some, so I know. When we have a university, we'll tell her to make for all of us. Oh, you're okay, Omkar?
Yes, thank you.
Absence. Momita. Dispassion is different from austerity, but austerity is also a quality we should have. No, dispassion is not different from austerity, it's the same thing. Why different?
Because in austerity, we deliberately deny ourselves some things. No.
No, not at all. That is a misunderstanding of austerity. Does anyone remember the definition of austerity?
Conservation of energy and redirecting to the goal.
Very good. Conservation of energy and its redirection towards a higher purpose. That is austerity, tapas. What
Okay.
you are referring to probably is abstinence, where you keep away from things. Abstinence goes more into self-control.
Self-control.
You keep away from those things which prevent you from reaching your goal. But other than that, you have to enjoy everything. Why would you not enjoy everything? What kind of a life is this where you're not allowed to enjoy everything that is enjoyable? You should enjoy it, but not if it is contrary to your goal.
Okay. Actually, self-control, dispassion, and austerity, they all are normally associated with this keeping away, abstinence. But from what I understand now is that actually it has to do with having the right value for things and always orienting everything towards the goal. So as long as it doesn't affect the goal, then there should be no deliberate keeping away from it.
Yes. Yes. I mean, deliberate keeping away only means that there is some deliberation behind keeping away. That is what it means, right? But deliberate keeping away has turned out to become like, oh, let's make lists that these are bad things and we shouldn't do them. We shouldn't have alcohol. It's a bad thing. It's a sin. All this is nonsense. But if you're on the verge of becoming an alcoholic, then now it's become a sin for you. Now you have to. Okay?
Oh.
It is your absence of your control, your intellect's governance over it that's a problem. Not the object itself. You can't say, oh, alcohol is bad. It's a very bad thing. How can you make a statement like that? Many of your cough syrups have alcohol. What are you going to do? Not have cough syrup? You can make it. I mean, not as a philosopher. Laymen make right left. Because they are not called upon to be consistent from one statement to another.
Yeah, actually all religions do too. We have arbitrary things to stay away from.
Remember Chesterton's fence? So be careful when you make statements like that. Religion does prohibit you from having alcohol. And the reason for that, some things are prohibited, not because they are inherently bad, but by and large, see, religions go by and large. They don't go by philosophy so much. They go by and large. By and large, addictive substances are difficult for people to keep control. I mean, firstly, you're going down that street of religion, you don't have much of an interest. So therefore, you've gone down that street. Now you are bound by rules because you are not capable of governing yourself.
Right.
So for such people, yeah, please keep away because you will end up in a lot of trouble if you don't keep away.
Thank you, Janki.
Yeah, but in philosophy now we change the rules. But religion rules must be maintained for religion.
Actually, we end up asking the same questions again and again. But when I hear it for the umpteenth time, I probably will get it and I'll stop asking it.
It's in the nature of the beast, Monita. Then, absence of egoism. Absence of egoism means just not giving yourself more importance than it deserves. So it can happen in work. You feel that I have done this work. No, nobody can do any work. Only when everybody works, then you work hard. Nothing is achieved by one person, no matter how great that person. Number one. Number two, we have an unconscious belief in our own superiority somehow, as if I am the most important person. There's this unconscious belief all the time. You may say, "Maine aise kaha tha." Joyce, that means I had said that. So what is the implication? Since I had said that, that was a thing that you should have noted. The constant implication of my greatness. That's why we try to avoid the use of I as much as possible. Keep away this, or at least notice how much it is being used. I think so. I have a question. If you raise your hand, obviously you have a question, otherwise why on earth will you raise your hand? So we assume you have a question when you raise your hand. And you can either say this is the question, here is the question. Something like that. I have a question. But I only wanted to say the point was only this. Why has everything got to be about me? And when everything is like this about me, I don't seem to realize there are other people around at all. Common example. Above us, some gentleman is going through insomnia. So since he's going through insomnia, I can't sleep at night. And then he didn't know what to do, and he started doing carpentry. 11:30 at night, it's like, what, 12:30, oh, 12:31, remember what? Suddenly, whir, whir, off the, that whatever machine they use. What on the earth? Because you're in deep sleep, you know what happened here. What happened? What happened? Is there an earthquake? Like, what is this noise? Turns out this gentleman cannot sleep, so he was doing his home projects. Thank you very much. Now, it's not that he means to trouble you. It's not that he means to be mean to you. It's not that he says, I'm not sleeping, these guys are sleeping, let me wake them up. Nothing like that. It is just in our assumption of I'm the only one who exists around him. We have this unconscious assumption. And you know why we have this unconscious assumption? Because it is true. I'm the only one who exists around. The self alone exists, right? Unfortunately, in our ignorance, we attribute the qualities of the self to this body-mind. Body-mind intellect, Daima does. The self is what? Then unconsciously attributing that quality of myself to this body-mind. When I do that, it's called egoism. So egoism is nothing but false identity. And when you have the false identity, you attribute to the false identity the characteristics of the original one. Yeah, Mukesh.
Good morning, Janki-ji. Just a quick note on just the example you gave regarding this gentleman who had insomnia, and he was doing because he couldn't sleep, he carried on doing whatever he was doing and disturbing other people in the complex or in the other. But how do you deal with this? Because is that not inconsiderate of this person, or maybe knowingly he doesn't know that what he's doing? But should you not say something then, or just accept it?
Of course you have to say. Why should you not say? Of course you have to.
Yeah.
Say. You have to take whatever action it requires to deal with the situation.
No, because you mentioned ego, that, it's disturbing my sleep. So, if I understand his vastness, that's how he is, or he's going through a medical situation now, insomnia, I need to be more understanding, but then it's disturbing my sleep. So does that I not come into the equation? No,
because disturbing everybody's sleep. Why should I think of it as disturbing my sleep? It's disturbing everybody's sleep, right? Everybody suddenly is waking up in the middle of the night and saying, what on earth is going on? As is to happen, we live above the garden. I mean, on the floor below us is the garden. And at 2 o'clock at night, these kids would go over there. Oh, what these kids do, sit so late at night and sit there and probably drink and smoke and chat loudly. And so we had to stop it because you cannot have this night after night, it's just not a done deal. We stopped it. And then talking about it and we stopped it. So it's not like if you take it the way you're taking it, there will be no such thing as a justice system. Right. So it is true that interests can clash. However, there are certain standards by which you cannot impose your stuff on other people. You can in your house do whatever you want, but you cannot do anything you want that will trouble your neighbors. Right? And if somebody does that, then you have to stop it. So ego doesn't mean that I have to be egoless doesn't mean I have to put up with all the nonsense of the people of this world. In fact, never do that. Because there's this proverb that says, make yourself a doormat and everyone will wipe their feet on you. So that is not being non-egoistic. Non-egoistic means you don't make a big deal of yourself. That's all it means. So that doesn't translate into action as, okay, now you do whatever you want. Because if you start thinking about it, you realize that ego is a really bad thing. Selfishness is a really bad thing. So I'm not going to encourage this in myself, and I'm not going to encourage it in anyone else either. Because when I encourage your ego or your selfishness, I'm really doing you harm. No, it's not something to be done. Right is right and wrong is wrong. I know it gets very confusing when you start studying philosophy because on one hand they tell you accommodate, adjust. On the other hand, they tell you take action and stop people from doing it. Arey Baba, make up your mind. What are we supposed to do? You just have to think about it yourself and decide in this situation, this is happening. Depends on all the factors.
You could also say that it's taking away from making me up early for my study because it's kept me awake all night, or this person has kept me awake all night. So that's something you can think in that respect. I'm just an example.
I don't know, because if you extend that, you can extend it to anything. You are not allowed to live your life because in some way I'm not going to be able to do what I want. So that we cannot do. Remember that the way to understand these things is remove the particulars and put X. As a philosopher, you replace every specific with a gender. And then you know whether this holds true or not. Like remove the word, I cannot get up in the morning, and say, I cannot X. Then it won't hold, right? It's not about me, this thing. It's about you are doing something idiotic. You have to stop. Nothing to do with me. I may want to get up in the morning. I may not want to get up in the morning. Whatever it is, you cannot do this thing.
Thank you.
Yeah, Deepraj. Rupa, I'll just come to you.
Yes, so you just said that we don't want to encourage other people's egos. But in a previous class, you had said in spiritual development, we lower our own ego and we protect other people's ego. So what exactly is the principle that,
It's a bad thing. You don't encourage it in yourself or in others.
So you don't protect it.
You don't protect other people's egos unnecessarily. Now, you don't go and wound people's egos either. Like you don't say rude things to people. You don't tell somebody, oh, I think you're too fat. That's their business, not your business. You see, you don't go and say mean and rude and hurtful things to people. But if people in their ego take action which is negative for the community or for the wider thing. You cannot say, okay, no, let us be accommodating. No, I mean, it takes an intellect to draw the line somewhere. So difficult to make out. Yeah, Rupal?
Morning, Janki. I wanted to understand the concept of this ego that we were discussing a little more clearly. So, we are saying that ego is this I-ness, right? Where the sense of identity from the BMI, which is my body, my relatives, my thoughts, my, my things, etc. And we are not talking about pride here. We are talking about a sense of identity created with attachment to the BMI and that perspective. So how does one look at, having strong sense of values and convictions and ideas and philosophies? I mean, because that just prevents you from being a little bit less flexible and fluid. And I've seen people with very strong, I'm not saying they're proud, but they have a strong sense of conviction and a strong ideology and beliefs and value systems that they strongly believe in. And they may be good values. I'm not judging that. But do we call that as an egoist person?
I think you are confusing between ego, which is a strong sense of identity, and the mind falling in love with a philosophy, a principle, an ideology. Every one of us is made up of is a bundle of vasanas, every one of us. And we live in a range. Okay, there are some vasanas which are at the lower level of that range. There are some vasanas at the higher level of that range. Now, whether they're at the lower level of that range or the higher level of that range, the important thing is that we use our intellect when we transact with them, obviously, with the world. When this interaction takes place between the world and me, I mean, in the sense, my bundle and your bundle, my intellect has to filter this. So let us say a person has a very strong ideology about capitalism. Now he has gone to a party. His ideology of capitalism is very strong, but the party is not the place where he has to start talking about why capitalism is the best thing and try to convert people to that thought. At a party, his role is of a party attendee, and therefore his role over there is to keep it fun and entertaining and light. So when you're not able to modulate your desires with reference to your environment, the problems you're talking about arise.
Can I just interrupt there for a minute?
Yeah, I finished. So you're not interested.
Sure. No, what I wanted to just say was, what if it's not a party? What is it if it's an appropriate place? But you're still extremely convinced about your own ideas. It's an appropriate place, but you're still convinced about your own ideas, and you're not flexible enough to listen to somebody else's
ideas. Why are you saying
ideas.
Not flexible? What?
It's something. It's your idea that it is conducive.
But why are you adding that point that you're not flexible? Why should the person be flexible?
Because you strongly believe in what you're saying, and it's coming across. Sorry?
Why should you be flexible?
Yeah, I'm trying to understand that. Is it important or is it not important? I'm trying to understand that.
I mean, why should Gandhi be flexible that when the British tell him that no, you should not have Swaraj, you should have, what is it that they were telling us to have? To be, what was that word? I forgot. He said Swaraj. Tilak said Swaraj. And then Gandhi also said Swaraj. And The British were telling us to be remember that word? What was it?
Dominion?
I don't,
Colony,
yeah.
like a colony. Or like
Yeah, we not total independence. They were willing to give us partial independence. So we said no, Swaraj or nothing. Why should we be flexible? Just not being flexible is not sufficient ground. It is always contextual.
Right.
So
Thank
if in that environment, what are you supposed to say or do is what is important.
Right. Thank you.
How did you know about this class, Rupa?
There was a person, Mr. Nagarajan. He sent me the link. He had reached me out for some donation for a Vedanta school.
Oh, I see. Okay, great.
So he sent me. Is this part of the Chinmaya mission?
No.
No.
It's a separate trust called Vedanta Wisdom Trust.
Right. He sent me the link, so I thought I will. I've been a mission member, Chinmaya mission member, so I thought I'll just listen and understand. Obviously, lot to learn always. So I thought I will
All
just.
these philosophies are very aligned.
Right.
Ramakrishna mission, Chinmaya mission, or Swami Parthasarathy, very,
Certainly.
very aligned.
Yeah. But the whole thing is, Dr. Janki, how you apply it, right, in your own life. So the theory part of it, everybody will know, but how well are we able to live it really is the test.
Yes, so that is important thing is to do with how much have we digested that knowledge. How much have we thought about it till that knowledge becomes us. When it becomes us, we automatically live it.
Right.
So,
thank you.
Omkar, can you please re-explain the X theorem? To be able to be objective to things, Omkar, it's good to use the word X. Right? Instead of saying my wife behaved with me like this, you say X behaved with Y like this. So you get an inherent objectivity. And also when you're dealing with problems, it's good to put X because we want to not talk about that specific problem. As a philosopher, we're interested in principles. So when you're interested in principles, it doesn't matter what that particular thing was. We are only what that particular example was. We are only concerned with the principle. And that helps you become objective and think about things properly.
Yeah,
Jankiji.
thank you.
Yeah.
Jankiji, Mr. X had a question before Omkar.
Oh, is it okay? Mr. X had let us go and see who is Mr. X. Mr. X. Can't see Mr. X. He's really gone invisible. Here's Mr. X. Is the attribution of the self to the personality also the same in the other way ego manifests, that I am supreme? Yes, it is. Because the self is supreme and therefore you think this limited personality is supreme. You superimpose the qualities of the self on this. The self is endless, right? So we believe we are all endless. Every one of us knows that we have to die. Does anyone debate this idea? Everybody knows we have to die. Does anyone actually believe we are going to die? No. Nobody believes we are going to die. So all the qualities of the self are superimposed upon this. The self is very important. So I think I am very important. I mean, body, mind, intellect is important. The self is eternal. So I think this body, mind, intellect is all the qualities of the self. The self is all knowing. So I believe I know everything. We superimpose all the qualities of the self on this limited personality. And we feel we are right. And we are right. Except we are attributing it to the wrong thing. Okay, Mr. X?
Yes, thank you. And also an announcement for July for this class.
Go ahead.
So, Hariom everyone. In the month of July, the Saturday class will be taken by Mr. Adi Kalyanewala, another senior teacher. So the issue is that sir is available from 10:45 a.m. So if you're okay with it, we'll have the class from 10:45 to 11:45. Any issues with that, please let me know.